And we're off. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this one. Again, I do apologize about starting the game at the end, but you're not really here for the game. You're here for the team overview and decision making and why I made the changes and decisions I did. And that's what this video is going to be. I'm going to do it every 2 weeks, so bi-monthly. And how it's going to work is the first half of the video is going to be a game showing the team in action and how my decision making works, and I explain it as I go in terms of how I'm zone entering, how I'm leaving the zone, how I'm controlling the puck, and what decisions I'm making differently based on situational awareness and, game situations. The best way to describe it is there's a system that I have developed myself that I think is in the game, but also it's just kind of like hey, this is how I think the game plays. And what it is the AI, the more changes you make to your team, you notice, and I know people have said this, but you notice your team plays sluggish. They don't play like they usually do before the changes were made. And after 5 to 10 or so games, the team starts re-controlling how they used to be and how they used to play. And what I think that is EA, at the release of NHL 26, added a shadow system, which I call decision-making, where after a certain threshold is hit in terms of games played with that lineup or that specific line combination, the team starts playing better around the player. And what that means is not the AI plays better around the AI. It's in fact the AI plays better around the user-controlled player. Whatever that player is at the moment with the puck, the AI plays better and to more benefit that player in terms of playstyle change. So, for example, like I'd say is the way I play the game is very slow. It's methodical. Make passes you only know that are going to work. Take shots that you know are only going to work. And don't force changes. Don't force decision making on the AI. Always have a plan going into a zone exit or a zone entry or the neutral zone or a change off the bench, etc. And the way I explain it to everybody that I talk to is you got to look at it like your players are being traded to that team, the new ones you bring in. They're trying to understand a new system. They're trying to understand how the team plays around them and how they're going to be best benefiting their new line mates. And that's why I bring up the system where it's like, hey, you've been brought on the team. For example, let's say I just picked up Iginla and Gretzky, like I do have, and you're about to see soon. They're coming into a team that's already situational advised. So you have to understand that those players are going to play sluggish. They're going to play less to their capabilities until they understand the system. And what that means is they're going through the growing pains of learning a new team, learning a new system, learning a new teammates, friends, whatever. And you got to understand that they have a period of time. 5 to 10 games is the sweet spot where I notice my team starts to play a lot better after a change. And that's why I only make those changes when I'm done my chores, or what the HUT community calls chores is like challenges, objectives, whatever. And that could be for the Tuesday release of just regular weekly stuff, the Wednesday release for Team of the Week, which is the best players from the past week of hockey with NHL or international, depending on part of the year, and if it's an Olympic year or World Juniors, whatever. And then the other one is that Friday release at 5 p.m. Eastern, where it's either a week 1 of a new event or week 2 of the same event, and you get challenges for each week for those events, and you get cards, etc. And in between those times, so like Thursday, Monday, Saturday, Sunday, those are the days that you put aside time, like an hour, maybe 2 hours, to make the changes you want, play a couple games with that team so you're ready for the next day's event release, so you don't have to go through the growing pains while you're trying to complete the challenges. That is the sweet spot. Instead of making the changes the day of the event, like say, for example, Trade Quest Week 2, the event you see in the bottom left, Week 2 comes out in a couple hours at 5 p.m. Eastern here on, as of recording, Friday. What's going to happen is players I don't need to add to the team, because I already have players from the previous week in my team that are accumulating their abilities and acclimating to the system way before Week 2 comes out. And that's why I'm going to use them instead of adding new players to the system, so they have to acclimate to my system. A lot of words and a lot of time, but who cares? The best way to show it is go through my team now and show you why I've made the decisions and why the team plays the way they do and why I have that system of making sure you have all your chores done before you make changes. So we've got Iginla, Gretzky, Ehlers, McKinnon, Barkov, Marlowe, Caulfield, Nelson, Fiala, Marchenko, Scheifele, Gensel, Hughes, Spurgeon, Anderson, Bork, Makar, Solomon, Lankinen, and Jonathan Quick. So Kevin Lankinen is the main goaltender I've used for about 65 games. The longest tenured goaltender I used would have to been the 86 rookies Carey Price with 700 games of my 1,400 I've played. And the reason I've got Kevin Lankinen there is because he is 6'2", 190 with 96 speed with the boost, 95 without. He's got showstopper and dialed in. He is the most consistent goaltender in the game because a lot of the pros and a lot of, content creators are using his 84 team of the week from about 2-3 months ago. They're only using him because they want to have the best possible team that they're comfortable with using. And I do the opposite. I want a goaltender I know I can trust in stressful situations, both 5-on-5 and in overtime and shootout. And that's why my team is a little bit more balanced. It's more thought out. I have more decision making to do rather than putting like an 82 or 84 overall Jordan Binnington or Carey Price in net and building the most broken, unbalanced squad on planet Earth, where every line is shoot first mentality when I don't have lines that are built to play defense and built to play support. So the first line, as you can see, is offense first with Iginla, Gretzky, Ehlers. It's offensive minded. Same with the first deep pair, offensive minded of Quinn Hughes and Spurgeon. The best decision I ever made was making my second line, my kind of defense and exploitation line first. And what that means by exploitation is using McKinnon and Marlowe to exploit the wings, Barkov to take first contact. And in hockey terms, first contact means he's the one getting laid out. He's the one getting hit. He's the one getting sent to the bench with either an injury or loss of energy. He's the one you exhaust your entry with. And what I mean by exhausting entry is he's the entry man. He takes the puck and walks it across the line. If he gets hit, he gets hit. That's his job. And McKinnon is there to lurk and wait for rebounds or take passes from Marlowe or Anderson or Bork. Marlowe, funny enough, I call him the Great White, Sharks reference. He literally just sits there like a predator and waits. That's his job. That's his role. I don't use him specifically. I let the AI positioning do their job, and I'll control McKinnon or Barkov, let him take the hit. McKinnon grabs the puck. Marlowe's sitting there for a one-timer. As you can see, he's left on the right, and McKinnon is right on the left. So I can make continuous cross-crease passes or continuous one-timer attempts from the dots or the circles, or even if one of them switches to play F3 if Barkov gets injured and he runs to the bench, Marlowe and McKinnon, the one that doesn't have the puck, that AI will move to cover Barkov's position between Anderson and Bork. And that's why I love having a line like this where they play situational awareness over just offense. The third line, however, is a mix of both positioning situations. We've got Fiala for the lurk, Caulfield for the straightaway scoring and lethality with his shooting, and then Nelson's there to take hits and win pucks in the corner, etc., the face-off. The fourth line is mainly just to support the third line, Marchenko, Scheifele, Gensel. The only reason this line is the fourth line and this line, the Nelson line, is the third line is because of the Scheifele. Scheifele's card is amazing. Don't get me wrong. He's got 93 faceoffs. Very, very solid card. Very solid player. It's just he's so far behind the curve that I want to try and get another Winnipeg center, whether it's a throwback Jonathan Taves card or a Cole Perfetti or an Adam Lowry. Like, I'm hoping I can get a Jets card tonight that replaces this Scheifele, that gives this Scheifele line the edge to go to the third and the Caulfield line to go to the fourth. That's the only reason why these lines are where they are, is because Scheifele and Brock Nelson, comparing them directly, Brock Nelson is about 1,000 times better than Scheifele. And if I get someone today that's a Winnipeg Jets center, then this Scheifele will be replaced and these two lines will switch and they'll play completely different roles. Gensel will become the Fiala and Marchenko will become the Caulfield of the line. And if I get a Cole Perfetti will become the Nelson, where he wins the puck, moves the puck, and keeps the puck in the zone, being the offensive or neutral zone. Goaltending, again, Kevin Lankinen is, like I was saying earlier, the one that takes majority of the pressure in terms of regulation. He plays all 3 periods, all 60 minutes, and he deals with all the regulation stress. And what that entails is penalty kills, power plays, extended zone pressure, constant full pressure in some cases where I'm being hemmed in my own zone against 99s, 97s that I can't really compete with because they're so good at exhausting my players because they're better speed, better control, better abilities on average, and higher overall potency. And what I mean by that is their shooting, their offense, their ability to pass, their ability to take hits is more potent compared to my players that are around the 92 to 93 range, as low as 89, with some boosts up to 90 and 91, 94, etc. So that's why I play the game a little bit differently than I have in previous years. Like last year around this time, I had a 96 overall team. I have a 91 overall team now. My top six was majority shooters, and my bottom six was majority power forwards and two-way forwards. This year, I went with a more balanced team. Each line has their own designated set of roles. The first line being shoot first mentality, the second line being defensive possession, whether it's, getting a line change to get the third line or the first line on, or it's just keeping the puck more or less in the neutral zone away from our defensive zone. Third line is more, push the defense back into their defensive zone to hold them against the wall and keep the pressure. The fourth line is just to support the third line's idea of keeping pressure. Scheifele in the corners winning the puck. Marchenko and Gensel on the flanks just waiting for the puck. Ehlers and Jerome Iginla are there quite literally to support Gretzky in the offensive output, where Ehlers plays the dark horse sitting in corners, trying to stay in blind spots, and Iginla's just there to overpower physically and move the puck to Ehlers. And if Ehlers has a chance to shoot, he will. If he doesn't, he'll hold till he can get on the backhand, and I will backhand pass to Wayne Gretzky. Wayne Gretzky, with his elite edges and quick release, will then either find a shot angle, short side or close side, doesn't matter, and then Iginla will be there for a rebound control. That's the best way to describe how I'd make this team work and how they work in general. Again, have a good one. Hope you guys... Bye. Have a good one.